we've talked about all the benefits of investing in self-storage and being a part of the self-storage world. Talk to us a little bit about the reasons or the challenges that you face when investing in self-storage.
Yeah, a lot of challenges are with finding the right opportunities. So you really have to have your data scientists, your team ready to find that demand and that supply gap and really find markets where there's rent growth opportunity and size up a particular location. People ask like, "Oh, how's self-storage in Seattle or how's self-storage in Houston?" And it's kind of a bad question because you really have to focus on the hyper local market because people don't drive an hour to go to a good storage facility. They kind of look at price and location. And so you have to really kind of understand the demand in the immediate market for self-storage. And that's 100% data driven and a little bit of experience to kind of match up, occupancy data, et cetera. So I would say finding a property, especially if you're doing ground up development, you really have to know your numbers because if you don't, you could build something, have a huge debt payment, and not be able to fill it up. That's a big threat. So I'd say that's number one. Number two, REITs and other competition, small operators, syndicators are pouring into the space at a record rate. And there's really not a lot of self storage to buy. So, if you think about multifamily, I mean, how many multifamily buildings do you think there are in the United States? Probably well over a million. There's 55,000 self storage facilities in the United States, and probably 30,000 of them you don't even want to buy because they're like 10 units in the middle of nowhere. So the reality is there's not a lot of product that trades, and there's a lot of competition for the assets. So you don't hear about self storage as much because it's just such a smaller pond that we play in.
Mm-hmm.
Multifamily, you see multifamily everywhere because there's a lot of it, and so there's a lot of it to buy, and there's a lot of it that trades. Self storage just doesn't have that huge market and scalability. And I would say the third thing that is challenging about self storage is it's not complicated, but it's different. And you can overdo it or you can underdo it. Or people think that they can just unman everything. And, they heard another company that just has unmanned properties and they use technology and everything went great. But there's a lot of kind of half truths to how you really need to set up your operations to be successful. There's a lot of companies out there that just use third party property management. Oh, we'll just have this other property management company manage it for me and it'll be great. But there's always a misalignment of interests. So I think kind of understanding the game and how it is different. It's simple, but it's different. I think is really really important. I think a lot of eye opening, moments that people have when they first get into the space. So you really want to be partnered with somebody who has their arms around the industry and is really active in the self-storage space.
Love it. So, give us, let me ask this question. When did you formalize Spartan? When did you guys actually come together and formalize the company?
2013.
Okay. So, give us a brief synopsis of where your company is at today. I've given the listeners a little bit of a heads up about
Yeah.
the size of your company, but maybe you can give us a sense of what Spartan Investment Group focuses on today and what you guys have accomplished in the form of acquisitions thus far.
Yeah, so we just broke 100 employees, full-time employees, which is great. We have our own construction company within Spartan that focuses on building our units and fixing up our properties. So we have general contractors on staff, as an example, and field engineers, project executives, the whole value chain there. We have our own property management company that manages all of our assets exclusively, and that's Free Up Storage. So we created our own national brand that we can put on all of our own properties, and we have our whole operations team. We have corporate finance, our own accounting, and our own internal corporate finance and acquisitions team. 5 people that go out and they're looking for properties on a regular basis. They're networking with the top brokers. They're looking at off-market deals. They're looking at on-market deals. They're looking at raw land development, et cetera. And then we have a whole IR team. So we have, I believe, I'm probably going to misrepresent this, but we have about 6 people on our IR team now. So everything from taking care of our existing investors to finding new investors, and then kind of in the middle where people have found us and want more information, want to talk to a team member about our company. And then we also have capital markets. So, all these properties require a lot of different debt. And that's one thing that's challenging, I think, in any asset class is securing debt. And so we have an entire team that focuses on just on securing our debt. So a capital markets VP that focuses on relationships with banks, closing loans, et cetera. And so that's kind of the breakdown of our 100 people that are across 11 states. We have 3 million, just over 3 million square feet of self storage, and that's about 25,000 doors of storage, and just north of a half a billion in AUM under management.